Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the first video tutorial of Adobe CC 2020 Essentials series. In this tutorial we are going to demonstrate a general overview of Photoshop application, what can be done, and we are going to focus on customizing and working with the software Workspace. So first of all, when you open Photoshop, you are going to see this welcome screen, which has, let's say, few things that you can use. First of all, you can see the suggestions right here, which you can hide and show based on your needs. It's going to suggest some topics from Adobe, and below it you have your recent files opened, and you can view them based on a list view or a grid view. It's going to have all the files that you recently opened. And all the way to the left, you're going to have several tabs, including the home, which is this tab. This is the content of the home, and the learn tab, which contains also some educational and suggestion training videos, short videos relatively about Photoshop. And here you can see your work. You can see the Lightroom photos and your cloud documents if you have a cloud document, and then you have the create and open icons, or buttons. So you can open a file from here if you already have a file, but we are going to start with the new file here. Before I start, as always, as I say in all my videos, when you want to perform a task in Adobe applications or in generally any application, probably there are many or several methods to accomplish the task. So the method I am demonstrating is not the only one and might be not the best one, as I always say. So it depends on the scenario and it depends on your preferences. For example, are you using mouse or using touch screen? Do you like shortcuts or do you like to use menus and toolbars and so on? So I'm going to start with this, the create new, and the create new is going to open the new document window, which has several tabs with several presets, useful presets for you, including the recent, which is the recently opened presets, saved, the saved presets. If you create a preset, I have no preset saved, I'm going to save a new one now with you. And you have photo, you can expand all the or display all the presets, and also you can see templates here, as well as print, art and illustrations and so on. Okay, so we're gonna, for example, stick to the web, or you can go to the photo, or anything you want. Basically, you want to go to film and videos and select the HD and full HD resolution, it's also fine. So we're gonna start by clicking this preset here, which is HDTV 1080p. So as you can see here, this is the resolution, the width and height. This is the dimension actually, and here is the resolution, which is the PPI, pixel per inch, as we explained in the theory lectures. I'm going to increase it just to change it, or made a difference between my preset and the original preset. I'm going to name this introduction. Always it's a good practice to name your files properly from the beginning. And here you have the color mode, and here you have the color depth. Basically, as also we explained, when you increase the color depth, it's gonna make the file quality better, but also it's gonna increase the file size. You see, it's gonna double the file size. And here the background, you want the background to be white, black, or based on the background color, or transparent, or custom, where you are gonna select a color from here or a color from here. Okay, and then you can select a color profile, and we are going to cover this in other videos. And here the square, or the pixel aspect ratio, which is the relationship between the width and height of your image, and by default it's square pixels. You have other options to select from, but we are going to stick to the square pixels, as you can see here. Now I will just make this transparent again. Then I will save the preset, and it's always good practice again to give it a proper name that you remember it. So I'm going to give it my name as an example. You can give it your name, or you can give the preset name based on the scenario you are working with. So I'm going to press enter or click save. As you can see here in the save tab, now you have the preset that you selected, and to open it you just click create. Sorry. So as you can see here, you have a transparent background, and these are the guidelines for the safe and action area. We are going to talk about this later on anyway, inshallah. But as you can see here, this is the default user or the default interface. You have more than one interface in Photoshop. As you can see here, the first place to change your workspace or interface, they call it workspace, is from here, the essentials, 3D motions, painting. Let's go for example to photography, and you're gonna see the interface changes. If you don't want this method, you can go to Windows and Workspace, and then you select whatever you want to select from. It's always a good idea that you, at the beginning, before you start working with your application, that you customize the workspace to fit your needs and preferences, because it's just like when you organize your office. It's very important that you work with a workspace that makes your work more efficient. So I'm gonna show you how to customize the workspace. So for example here, I don't need the libraries and I don't need the learn for now, so I'm gonna just drag them away. You can just drag them, they're gonna be detached from the workspace itself. So here I have a good group of colors, swatches, gradients and patterns all together in one interface. Then the layers and adjustments, this is the properties and adjustment. I'm going to keep them like this, but the layers, channels and paths, I'm going to take them away. You see, you can select the whole group from here, or you can select only one layer from here. Okay, so I'm going to select the whole group basically. Let me put the layers again here. Okay, and now I'm gonna attach them, or attach it here, because I need to see all my layers. In case you have this kind of layers or many layers to watch from, always remember these two arrows. You can click them to, let's say, close the panel. You can close them while you keep seeing the text, or you can just drag to see only the icons. Anyway, the preferences or the customization or the way that you do this, it depends mainly on your screen size. If you have a bigger screen, maybe you don't need to do this. If you have a small screen, you might not be able to have several panels like this, because it's going to leave you with a very small working area, which is, in my opinion, it's not going to be very comfortable. Anyway, again, this depends on your preferences. Remember, this is a very important thing to do, because this is going to affect your work as you go and work with your projects. For me, I'm gonna keep the history here, but I'm not gonna use the history all the time, so I'm gonna just close it like this, and I might need to add a few other panels to show you how to add them. So I will add the paragraph, or I'm gonna add the characters then the character style and the paragraph style. As you can see, they are added both here, and I'm gonna add the paragraph and then the character themselves. So I'm gonna add the character with its styles in a single group, and the paragraph with the style in a single group, and then I'm gonna attach them to here. You see, this is the paragraph, and I'm gonna attach the character. So now I have my layers. Oops, I attach them with the layers. Anyway, you can put them in a single group. I'm just trying to show you what you can do. Basically, now you have many of your workspace already taken, and you have a little area to work here with your auto editing. I'm gonna move this up there. We don't need this, to be honestly, to be like this wide or this long, sorry. So I'm gonna return this back here, and I might even put the characters and paragraphs there also as well. Okay, but I'm gonna put them below this, and I'm gonna put this here. And of course, it's not added. You can double click to close it, double click to open it. For example, you don't need to see it all the time, or you want to work with characters, you open on the characters. If you want to work with paragraphs, you open only the paragraphs, and so on. Okay, this is the properties. You can close it, you can open it, and you can just adjust the color to make them a little bit smaller. And as you can see here, the property, I'm going to open this, I'm going to open this, and when you open you can adjust the size if possible, but I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay, so any panel you want to add, you can add it from here. Remember, if you miss any panel, if you couldn't find it, you can find it here from the windows. Now if you want to keep your changes, you don't need to do these changes all the time or every time. You can again go from here and create a new workspace, and I'm gonna name it also based on my name. So basically you can give it any name you want, and also it's a good idea to give it a name based on the scenario, or at least based on yourself. So as you can see, what you want to capture, the panel locations will be saved in the workspace. Keyboard shortcuts, menu, toolbars are optionals. So if you change the shortcuts, also the menus and the toolbar, all these things, you can select them to be remembered or to be captured when you do them and saved automatically to this workspace or not. It's up to you. I'm gonna check them all on for now and save my workspace. So now if I go to, for example, motion here, you see, and I do any changes, when I go back to this, to my workspace, it's going to open my workspace. So this is a very good thing to remember. We are almost done. The last thing we're going to talk about in the workspace is the toolbar, which is located to the left of your interface. You see here you have this double arrow as well. You can click it to make the tools organized in 2 columns. This is very useful also if you have a small screen and you cannot see all the toolbars. And here you have the action bar, and above it you have the menu bar, as you can see here. And the action bar is, let's say, it depends, the contents of it depends on what tool you are using. So when I click the crop, I'm going to see the options of the crop tool. The select tool, it's going to be of the select tool. The text tool, it's going to be based on the text tool, and shape and so on. Okay, and the other thing is here you can click home, this icon, it's gonna get you here. Okay, and you can click the Photoshop and you're gonna go back to this side. That's it. This was a very quick overview of what is Photoshop, or about Photoshop workspace. We didn't really go through what you can do with Photoshop. We might talk about this. We will talk inshallah about this in the next video. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in next tutorial. If you have any comments, leave them below and I'm gonna try to answer them all. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.